Well, good morning. Happy Election Day and welcome to Tuesday's 10 with Tom. So, a special Election Day edition. And today we're talking about change. Who knows what kind of changes we're going to see after the events of today unfold. I know that it seems like half of America is hoping for big changes, while half of America is hoping there are no changes. But we know as we look at our country, something has to change that can bring people together, because this constant fighting and bickering among people isn't working. All right, so be praying today for all those that are going to vote, for all those that are going to be responding to election returns tonight. Pray for our police officers and our first responders, that they would be safe and that people wouldn't be out looting tonight, regardless of who wins and loses. But pray that when this is over, it can be a step forward for us as a nation, that we can come together. So that's what we certainly hope happens. But I do want to talk about the subject of change. Man, have we been through some changes this year. You know, we were rolling along through the beginning of the year, and it was business as usual. We enjoyed the Super Bowl together at Caddyshack back in February. We were getting ready for spring break activities. We did a great service project over in Palatka, and on the way home, we found out that the schools were shutting down and that things were starting to fall apart because of this thing called COVID-19 that nobody really knew much about. And so, as we dealt with the changes, a lot of them were uncomfortable, but we worked our way through it. I mean, let's think about some of those changes that took place. We started meeting online. Everybody got involved with this thing called Zoom. You know, when I was a kid, Zoom was a TV show on PBS. But now we look at Zoom in a whole different way. We weren't able to go places. And even if we can go places now, restaurants still don't operate at full capacity. We're getting a lot more takeout. We're eating a lot more meals at home. Our sports have all changed. We're going around wearing masks so much of the time. And even if you can go to sporting events at your school, those have changed as well. You know, it used to be you went and you paid money, you bought a ticket, you walked in. Now, a lot of times you've got to be on a list. You've got to have your tickets on your phone because they don't exchange any money, so you got to buy ahead of time. Only certain people can go. Things have changed so much. The way we've done education is changing. You know, look at the number of online classes people have had to take over the last few months. You know, those things were starting to filter in, but all of a sudden, all of our education at the end of the last school year was online. A lot of schools are still doing hybrid models. Some students still haven't gone back to school at all because they're doing remote learning from home. It's been a time of constant change. But you know what? We're resilient. We're working through this. And it's a good thing we're resilient. Yesterday, I had the TV on as I was getting ready to go into church, and they had a doctor on there, and he said, you know, a lot of people think that when the election's over, that this COVID thing's going to go away. But he said, let me tell you something. He said, I think that we might be dealing with this for a whole nother year. And you know what? That's the last thing you and I want to hear. But even if it is, and even if it means more changes, we're going to deal with it. We're going to get through it. You know, we're coming into the Christmas season, and everybody wants things to be normal for Christmas. Maybe they won't be. You know, we're dealing with that with our family. Can we fly home? One governor wants us to quarantine for a couple of weeks. Well, we don't have time to do that. So Christmas may look different for some families. Some families, we got to be careful, you know, being around our grandparents, and that's so hard. And we need the interaction with our families. We need to keep those traditions going, and yet there might be a lot of new traditions. But change can be dealt with. I want you to remember this verse. Hebrews 13, verse 8. Jesus Christ is the same yesterday and today and forever. Jesus is constant. He doesn't change. God doesn't change. All right? God allows us to live in change and allows us to make changes. But God doesn't change. We can rely on God. And we can know that He's always going to be steadfast. That's important. You know, another thing as I look at changes, just in the past 15 years that I've been at the Village Church, so many things have changed. We used to meet in a hotel. Now we have a beautiful building that has already been remodeled one time. We used to have youth group in a house that was on the property. That house isn't there anymore. We used to be able to sit on the second floor of that house and look out and see nothing but farmland. What do we see now? We see Publix, McDonald's, the Sushi Bistro, the big shopping center where Gators is, and now we've got a Dunkin' Donuts and Papa John's and Pizza Hut. Down the street we've got Gate and Burger King and a car wash. We've got Buc-ee's getting ready to move in. We're getting a new high school. All those things are new. All of it's part of the change. Where Walgreens is, Horton's Corner Market was. And Horton's was the only thing in the area. That's change. But you know what? We've lived through it. It's made things better. When I came to the village church, all of our high school students went to either Bartram Trail or St. Augustine. Not a single one went to Nice. Now, the majority of our high school students go to Nice. All right? The way we do youth group, some things have remained constant, but there have been a lot of changes. The group size has varied through the years. And now we have our partnership with Reverb, and that's brought all kind of new changes. It's brought new leadership. It's brought new energy. It's brought new opportunities. And sometimes those changes can be scary. But God's in all of this for the good. And so I'm reminded of Joshua. And when Joshua had to take over for Moses, Moses led the Israelites out of Egypt. And as he led them out, they were headed to the promised land. They ended up wandering in the desert. And when Moses was ready to die, right before they were to go into the promised land, Joshua was to take over. And I'm sure there was a lot of grumbling about, well, why Joshua? He doesn't know anything. You know, why is he going to do this? Why can't Moses take us over? They didn't want to see change. In fact, some of them, while they were wandering in the desert as free people now, they're like, we don't like it out here. We want to go back to Egypt. We'd rather be slaves. You know, are you kidding me? But that's the way they were. Don't like change. And so Joshua was dealing with all this. And I love what God kept reminding Joshua of. Be strong and courageous. Don't be afraid, because I'm with you. And he knew that God was going to be with him wherever he went, whatever changes took place. And we have that same assurance that even in the midst of change, God is not going to abandon us, but he's going to be right there with us. So, as we move forward, whatever changes take place, don't let them rattle your cage. You are secure in Jesus Christ. Remember that today and in the days going forward. Will we see a lot of changes? Who knows? Maybe we will, maybe we won't. But if we're going to thrive, we're going to deal with whatever changes come our way and make the best of them. Okay? So, you can do this, we can do this together, and so we look forward to what's going to come next. Now, speaking of changes, things are going to look a little different at the Village Church this Christmas, particularly in the youth program. We have our annual Christmas activity that we've done for 14 years. Now this would be 15. It's probably going to look a little different this year. We wanted to talk to you, especially Mom and Dad, about that. We're also making plans, even though we don't know what might happen. You know, some are saying this could go on for another year. Some are saying it might just be a couple of months. We get a vaccine and everything's good. We don't know. So we've got a plan. Those plans might change, but we want to let you know what we're planning and how we're moving forward as we get ready to move into a new year. So we'll be talking about summer camp, mission kind of experiences, a great opportunity to raise awareness on world hunger, and a lot of other things that we want to share with you. And so we're having a meeting for parents and students, but especially for the parents, on Sunday, November the 15th. That's not this Sunday, but the following Sunday. And it'll take place at 10:10 a.m. in room 102, which is the adult Sunday school class next to the sanctuary. So that way, if you come to the early service at 9, you can stay a little bit extra for that meeting. If you're coming to the 11 o'clock service, come a little early and join us. But we really want you to be there because we want you to be an integral part of what we're doing moving forward during this time of so much change. We're going to get through this together, and we want to keep you on board, and we're going to need your support as we go forward. So I wanted to let you know about that. So mark your calendars, Sunday, November 15th, 10:10. So for those of you that can vote, moms and dads, hope you vote today if you haven't already voted. Everybody else sit tight, pray for our country, and I love you guys. We're going to get through whatever changes it is because God is with us today, tomorrow, and forever, and we can rely on that. I love you guys. Have a blessed day. Bye-bye.